Traveling Tales.
We're into our holiday season.
We are. Our ghostly holiday season.
I've got my Krampus shirt.
I've got a gingerbread ghost. That's what Tim called him.
I love it.
Gingerbread.
So cute.
I feel like he's a hipster gingerbread
Yeah, he's
ghost.
Yeah, with his iced coffee.
Yeah, and his beanie.
Yeah, I love
Is
it.
it a teeny weeny beanie? I love that.
You too. Oh, I almost did
Paul
a spit
Rudd.
take.
Oh my god.
I love Paul Rudd.
If you haven't
so much.
watched that video,
It's good.
go watch the teeny weeny beanie with
Yeah.
Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
It's good.
It's very
really
good.
It's good. What have you been up to?
Well, in the spirit of spooky Halloween,
Yeah.
I found, for those of you watching, a scary book of Christmas lore. Forget about Jingle Bells and Jolly Old Saint Nick. 50 terrifying Yuletide tales from around the world.
I like that.
Right?
I like that. Well, when you told me that you were going to do that, I was like, huh. As a history lover, which is so funny for me to say, because had you asked me that in 11th grade, I would have been like, do I have to take this class?
Yeah.
And in fact, my senior year, history class was an elective. You didn't have to take it. So I did not take history my senior year of high school.
I think my junior year I didn't have to take it, and senior year I did anyway.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
But now, where I can pick and choose and hyper fixate with my ADHD, I have a love for history.
Nice.
And so I thought that I would give us a little quick dive on Ghost and Christmas Past.
Ooh, okay.
Because this, for a very long time, was like a thing. Like, people don't usually like put together Christmas and Ghost. That's like Halloween.
Yeah.
But it's been a thing.
It's been like, if you really like start to think about it, you're like, oh wait, like
Well, A Christmas
a
Carol.
Christmas
for
Carol.
one, yeah.
Like, and then like I feel like in more recent years, because they've made some movies, but like Krampus is like kind
Krampus.
of well known now.
Yeah.
And yeah, that there's a lot of like kind of weird twisted traditions that go along with
know.
like ancient Yule
Right,
lore.
right. So I figured with our Christmas lore, I would give us some history on
Awesome.
ghostly tales of Christmas past.
Okay.
So it says, like most long-standing cultural customs, the precise origin of telling ghost stories at the end of the year is unknown, largely because it began as an oral tradition without written record. According to Sarah Cleto, a folklorist specializing in British literature, the season around the winter solstice has been one of tradition and change and transition. For a very, very, very long time, it has provoked oral stories about spooky things in many different countries and cultures all over the world. Mm-hmm. So, it said then, in Victorian England, the telling of supernatural tales at the end of the year, specifically during Christmas season, went from an oral tradition to a timely trend. This was part due to the development of the steam-powered printing press.
Oh.
Yeah, and the Industrial Revolution. So suddenly now all these stories...
Right. Are widely accessible.
Yep. The popularity of Victorian Christmas ghost stories also transcended socioeconomic... Oh my God, I honestly thought I had that word. Socioeconomic. I really went full force into that. I have this.
I heard it right the first time.
I said economic instead of economic status. They were available to read everywhere, from cheap publications to expensive Christmas annuals that middle-class ladies would show off on their coffee tables.
Oh.
I know. Charles Dickens' 1843 novella, A Christmas Carol, has forever linked the British author with the holiday season, but his contributions to Christmas in Victorian England, including the tradition of telling reading ghost stories, extend far beyond Jacob Marley. In fact, Dickens played a huge part in popularizing the genre in England. He wrote a bunch of different Christmas novellas, several which involved ghosts specifically. And then he started editing more and more Christmas ghost stories for other people and working those into magazines he was already editing. And this caught on like a wildfire.
Awesome.
Right?
That's really cool. So Charles Dickens was kind of like the godfather of
of like getting it out there, because like they said originally it was all oral. But he like ignited that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Very cool. Well, that goes like right into this, because these are basically a collection of like, it's broken up mostly into kind of different places all over the world, and like their specific story or creature or person or whatever it is. And I thought we should start out with Krampus, because Krampus is kind of at this point the most famous.
Yeah.
Also, have you seen? It came out like within the last 10 years. But there's a Krampus horror movie.
Oh, I haven't seen it, but I do remember.
It's got it. I can't remember who's in it right now, but it's got a great cast. Like totally random. It's a horror film for sure.
Yeah,
but
that's
it's
not
kind of
stopping.
But it's so, in the best way possible, like campy and funny.
Okay.
And like I said, I wish I could remember who's in it. I haven't seen it in a while. I feel like I need to watch it soon.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely.
I'll have to check it out then. I'll have to check it out.
It's pretty funny.
Can we watch it during the day with all the lights on?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm there then. I'm there for it.
I wouldn't say it'll scare you.
But it's creepy.
But it's creepy. Yeah, it's Krampus. Krampus is creepy. But
That's true.
It's
That's
kind
true.
of also like a little like cheesy, hokey, like monster story.
That is true. Do they have a picture of Krampus in there?
They do.
Oh, that's a good one.
Right?
That's as good as your shirt.
Right? I know, the shirt's good too.
Yeah.
I saw a TikTok of a woman, a witch, who, because broom making is common, who did a Krampus broom with these like broom with like horns coming out. And I was like, oh, that's cool.
If that pops up on your feed again, send it to me, because I
will.
want to see that.
It was very cool. So Krampus originally comes from Bavaria, Austria, Slovenia, Croatia, and northern Italy. So Krampus. This is just a little history and story. Krampus is, of course, the granddaddy of all European winter holiday monsters. A fearsome, furry demon with a terrible attitude that can't wait to get out in the snow and cause mischief. He's certainly not the oldest beastie haunting the holidays, but these days he's definitely the most famous, so it's natural to begin our ghostly gallery with him.
I agree.
Krampus accompanies St. Nicholas and has his very own night, the eve of St. Nicholas Day. In fact, the night of December 5th is when that is. Krampusnacht is the time when he is most active and when children have the most to fear. He is often depicted as a horned, satyr-like, goat-footed demon carrying a large basket on his back into which he will toss naughty children to drag them off to terrible tortures.
So no coal.
No coal.
Just a naughty child just taken away.
Yep.
Oh boy.
He usually carries chains and carries a root, a bundle of birch branches that he uses to swat misbehaving children. If that's all they get from him, they should count themselves lucky. Oh my gosh. And I've seen, like, on social media and stuff, like, they still have, like, parades and fairs and that kind of stuff where people dress up as the Krampus and will go around with these like birch broom things, like swatting at people, and it's like a whole festival.
See that.
It's like these super elaborate costumes.
I want to go to that festival.
Right? Yeah, we'll have
like
to pull some up and like show you it. Yeah. So his name might come from the old Bavarian Krampen, meaning dead, or the German Kramp, meaning claw.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, either word seems like a good etymology for him. He has long been associated with St. Nicholas, and tales of Krampus and his punishments might date back as early as the 7th century.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Though it seems that the earliest written records of this frightening figure date to the end of the 16th or the earliest 17th century. So still, that's
still... Do you think it falls on, like... Well, maybe it's in there. I don't know as I'm interrupting you. But, like, the pagan... winter solstice.
Yeah, I'd be curious, like, December 5th, like, where that falls in the, like...
In the calendar.
Yeah.
Because solstice is what, December 21st? Winter solstice?
Yeah, I was going to guess somewhere like 21st or 22nd.
I am curious. Here, keep reading. I'm going to pull up the calendar. So it is considered, I think, a pagan holiday.
I mean, that makes sense. Like, given it's dated back to at least the 16th century, but potentially back as far back as the 7th. That makes sense that it's technically a pagan holiday.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry,
Okay.
I interrupted.
So,
As per usual.
it's possible that fears of a menacing alpine winter visitor predates Christianity, and that the legends and festivals were intertwined with Christian belief when the church realized that they couldn't be eliminated entirely. So this
Sounds about right.
right, like everything.
Yeah.
Yep. So this fearsome night creature was given a holy role within the church to punish sinners, especially children. The Nazis banned Krampus celebrations, but the people were having none of it. And as soon as those losers were dispatched, Krampus came right back, bigger than ever.
I love it.
I love it.
I love it.
Today, of course, there are Krampus celebrations all across the Alps and beyond, even in the United States. Ooh, we should see where in the
We should
U.S.
see if there's a Krampus party. I want to go.
They start in early December and extend into January, no longer limited to one night, which is a great thing. There's no shortage of people willing to dress up as Krampuses, Krampi, and take part in parades and other big holiday get-togethers, posing for pictures, scaring kids, swatting tourists with fake birch switches, and having all sorts of fun. Dozens of people might show up dressed in their Krampus costumes, ready for a big ghoulish party. Krampus is an institution now and a big business. Though in the villages and more remote areas of the Alps, celebrations tend to be smaller and more traditional.
Okay.
With just one costume demon accompany the beloved saint as they make the rounds from house to house, checking in on the behavior of the local children.
Oh my gosh, I would have been freaked out.
Oh
And
my
I was
God.
such a goody two shoe. Like I mean, you know this. I was like a good kid, didn't get into trouble.
Yeah.
I would be so scared. So scared.
And like when you like look up these costumes and stuff, terrifying. Even as
Terrifying.
an adult. Like
Oh my gosh. Can you imagine just like...
No.
I think Gwen would be freaked out. I think Mary Elizabeth would laugh.
Yeah, I feel like she'd be like one of those little kids that would like run up and be like,
Like,
"Ah!"
Krampus!
Yep.
She'd have like a stuffed animal she'd drag around the house.
Yep.
Oh, we're in for it with her. In good ways. I don't think
Yes.
it'll be bad. But
No, I don't think so.
We're going to get our money's worth with that kid.
Yep, to say the least. So, variations on Krampus are many, and we'll look at some of them in the following pages. They are united by the idea of a menacing monster that threatens naughty children with torture and worse, and that often accompanies St. Nicholas or sometimes other holy men. The blend of the blessings and the curses is a common theme, with the idea being that those who have been good will get what they deserve, as will those who haven't.
Nice.
In recent years, Krampus has become something of a holiday classic, starring in horror movies, music videos, and more. This obscure figure from the frozen mountains of Europe has taken the world by storm.
Nice.
So, that is a little history on Krampus,
Okay.
which I kind of love that he's like this like dark sidekick of
Santa.
Like, Santa. Who's
Yeah.
like, I'm the one who's keeping track if you're naughty, and I'm
Yeah.
really scary,
Yeah.
so you better be good.
It's like it's not a lump of coal. It's not Santa's naughty or nice list.
No.
It's Krampus.
It's Krampus, and he's gonna snatch you away in the night into his sack on it, or his basket on his back.
I bet you they had really well-behaved children in Europe.
Yeah. I'm sure this worked. I am sure it worked.
I love it. What other ghostly tales do you have for us?
So this is just a little host of holiday horrors.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Yay.
And a lot of these, as you'll see, also kind of tie back into Krampus. He is definitely a running theme.
Okay.
Kind of across Europe.
It makes sense.
Yeah. So beyond Krampus, Perchin, witches, and cannibals, there were any number of other creatures that stalked the darkest nights of the Germanic winter landscapes. Ooh, let's try that again.
That's my job. What
Yeah,
are you?
I know.
I'm the one that butchers the words.
I got through.
It was in English too.
Yeah, I got caught up on winter of all words. So that's fun.
That's good. That's real good.
So let's see. Beyond Krampus, Perchin, witches, and cannibals, there were any number of other creatures that stalked the darkest nights of the Germanic winter landscape, waiting to lure the unwary to their doom. Here are just a few other of them.
Okay.
There's the Drood, was an evil spirit or hag that tried to cause sickness or even smother people in their sleep.
Jeez. Oh my God. Wait, was this Germany?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So
Yep.
a little Hansel and Gretel.
Yep.
Yeah.
She could be driven off by a Drudenfube, or Druid's foot,
Okay.
a pentagram that frightened away nocturnal horrors. Her name might derive from Thrud, the daughter of the Germanic Scandinavian god Thor, demonized over time into a night terror.
Okay.
In some areas of Bavaria, it was traditional to hang up a Drudenstein, a stone with a naturally formed hole in the middle. This little rock was said to ward off nightmares and presumably suffocating hag demons. So interesting though.
Sorry.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
I have heard of the naturally formed hole in the middle of a stone.
Yeah.
You can sometimes find them on beaches,
Oh,
and they're also known as witches' stones.
that's kind of cool.
Or like they're,
Yeah.
I don't know
Listen,
a lot about them,
I
but I
am
know
not
that.
saying that it wouldn't keep these things away. I'm more of laughing about that.
Oh, yeah.
We have to worry about keeping
Right?
these things away.
Yep.
Like things I didn't think of before
Yeah.
are now on my list of,
Yeah.
oh, great.
Yeah. I think suddenly Christmas is about like keeping things at bay
Which is smothering you.
in your sleep. Yep. Okay, so here's another one. The Habergieb is usually described as a three-legged goat, one leg too few, or a bird, one leg too many, with glowing eyes. Or it might be a goat with bird feathers. Or
Okay.
why not both?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. It often appears with Krampus, but also sometimes on its own. Traditionally, seeing this creature or even hearing its cry was a bad omen. If that weren't enough, it would sometimes resort to vampirism, drinking blood from both farmers and their animals.
Okay, so a few things. One, sounds like Krampus now has a sidekick.
Yes.
And also, isn't that called a, what are the ones that drink blood from animals?
This three-legged goat or bird goat does kind of sound like a chupacabra.
Yeah.
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 It's interesting, like, of course. But that so many stories are so, like, every kind of group
Well, and then
has,
it's like there's the white ghost or the white lady
Yes.
who represents so many places, and like it can't obviously be the same person.
Yeah. Yeah, there's, like, very, like...
Or a Bigfoot, and then the abominable snowman, which is essentially like the Bigfoot of Asia.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's very, like themes running through.
Yeah.
Which I find interesting. So then there's also the Selvogel, or seabird,
Seabird, okay.
is a flying phantom whose task it is to transport the souls of the dead to the other side. Like an avian grim reaper.
Oh.
Yeah. It resembles the Perchen, which in some legends is still portrayed today in various Alpine and Germanic festivals, where it is usually represented by a bird's head on the end of a pole.
Ooh.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Rather than a whole costume. Needless to say, in older times, you didn't want to hear this bird's call because it meant that your time was up.
Oh, it's like the beetle in Practical Magic.
Oh, yeah.
That meant that like her husband was gonna die.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, thank you. I don't
No.
want to hear that bird.
And
cry.
I was going to say that bird also is kind of like, I feel like there's like lots of, in like mythology, like the kind of Grim Reaper, the person
Yeah.
that like carries you to the other side.
Yeah.
Then we also have the Hawagoas. The Hawagoas might confront the unwary at any time of the year, but seems to have been especially feared in the darkest nights of the year, and its appearance might be marked by a bone-chilling wind. It looks like a goat, though it's said to have a cackling, otherworldly laugh, and might also croak like a toad. As if this wasn't bad enough, it wanders through towns and forests, sometimes waiting in haystacks or at crossroads to prey on foolish mortals who cross its path. It is said to accompany Krampus
Okay.
on his sinister journey from time to time.
So he's got a whole just group
It's
of
like Saint
sidekicks.
Nick and his band of merry men.
Yeah.
Like, we've got a whole, like, oh my god, that they need to make that into a movie. Like
Just Santa.
Saint Nick
Can
and
it be
his
a comedy
Krampus
though?
and, like, right, with all the like That would be
I
like
want
a dark
it to be
comedy.
a dark comedy. Yeah.
Like
yeah.
still like R-rated.
Yeah.
It is said to accompany Krampus on his sinister journey from time to time, but also engages in evil acts of its own, such as spoiling grain, causing nightmares, scaring children, and even predicting death.
Okay then.
Yeah. These are only a small number of the hidden horrors that might come out to confront the living during the holiday season. But they were joined by many more, some of whom have been lost to time. No matter, there are enough remaining that tales of beasties to keep modern readers entertained and chilled well into a dark winter's night.
All right.
So that is some Christmas lore. Now I really want to do the movie of Saint Nick,
Yeah.
Krampus, and their
And
band
his-
of
the
merry creatures.
Band of merry
Yeah.
creatures.
And I love that all of them, they're as part of their lore of what they're meant to do is scare children.
Yes, basically.
That's what they're meant to do.
Behave yourself
Yeah.
or
be
you're going to
scared.
get it by all these animal creatures. The death call of the bird and the animal sucking.
Blood from farm animals or the farmer, the vampire, bird, goat. Also lots of goats, which is very demonic devil imagery.
Yeah,
So that's super common.
Well, I mean,
hooved creatures
sheep go to heaven,
goats
goats
go to hell. Yep. Cakes.
That was
the
good.
best.
That was good. That was
Right?
good. I like that.
A little fun, spooky tie-in to Christmas.
That was good. Fine.
Yeah.
Well, as always, we are the Traveling Ghouls,
So hitchhiking ghosts beware.
and happy holidays.
Happy holidays.